What's going on, everybody? This is John J Gaming on the mic here, coming at you with a brand new episode of the NCAA Dynasty, here exclusively on College Football Revamped within NCAA 14. We are closing in on another fun-filled season, as we are already half through the year already. We've already made it to week number 8. That means more of the critical games are going to be coming in your direction as we move into this second half of the season. It's going to be fun to watch these teams grow or destroy themselves on the inside, as we have a fun-filled episode in this one. 16 nationally televised games that will be coming your way in an action-packed episode. We'll also check in on studio updates, and on top of that, checking in on box scores from around America as well in this episode. So buckle up, get the popcorn out. It's going to be a fun one. And if you're excited about it as well, just do me a quick moment. Hit that like button for me, as hitting that like button gets me into the YouTube algorithm a little bit more. Plus, hitting that subscribe button helps us join this community for you guys. With that being said, though, we got a lot of football coming your way. Let's go ahead and dive right into it. So let's go ahead and get that week number 8 action officially underway, and we will go ahead and get things started with a little bit of a quad box kind of thing. No teams in the top 25 playing in this early slate, but got a couple of teams that could sneak in there. How about this TCU squad off to a 4-1 start, including one of your guys' custom coaches, by the way, and Jake Jacobs, the former defensive coordinator from Temple, and his TCU Horned Frogs are going to take a 7-0 lead after a quick rushing touchdown on the ground. But after that, we start to see a lot more scoring happening at a much higher pace, as Gabe Patterson is going to score for Baylor. So the Bears are going to take the lead, but TCU looks to seize it back. Blaylock looks over the middle and finds Jerome Noonan for a little 5-yard gain on the play. So it sets up a 3rd and short for a critical red zone 3rd down, as Blaylock drops back, looks over the middle, and it's a one-handed grab by Derek Smith. Touchdown TCU. So the Horned Frogs are once again in the lead, but Les Jordan looks to change that. The custom at quarterback throws a dime out to Jason Carter. 1st down, Baylor. And now looking at a 1st and goal as they try to punch it into the end zone themselves. And Gabe Peterson gets his 2nd rushing touchdown of the day. And Baylor looking to cement a phenomenal first half on the ground. Gabe Peterson going for a hat trick, and sure enough, he will indeed get that hat trick in the first half. 3 rushing touchdowns in the game. Well, that's a great game. Doing all that in the first half is absolutely incredible. And Baylor's not even done scoring. They're going to put one more score on the board. Getting out to Jamal Brown for the touchdown. So Wes Jordan gets involved. Been very efficient on the day. 12 for 16. But Baylor with a commanding lead. And TCU's got some work to do if they want to go ahead and avoid their 2nd loss of the season. They got a 2nd and inches, so they have an opportunity to cut it down to just 10 points, and they will. Tough running there by Dorian Terrell, and sure enough, it's down to just a 10-point game, but Baylor looking to keep the distance on him, as Jordan's going to drop back. He's going to scramble. Can he get to the 1st down marker? Not quite, except that is not Wes Jordan in the game. Ron Davis is in. This is the backup quarterback for Baylor. So they go with a little bit of trickulation here. Halfback pass. Oh my goodness, we do not see that very often, ladies and gentlemen. But Gabe Peterson, is there anything that this man simply cannot do? I mean, I would argue not. He's got a passing touchdown and 3 rushing touchdowns on the day. But here comes those Horned Frogs. Blaylock gets his 2nd passing touchdown of the day, and then a couple of minutes later, Blaylock's going to keep it himself on the quarterback draw. He'll slide forward for a little 5-yard gain. Critical 3rd down coming up. They're going to move a man in motion. Looks like a triple option in the spread. They're going to hand it off to the receiver, Jerome Noonan, who is all wide butt naked open. Nobody in the Baylor defense went after him. But TCU ran out of gas after that, and Baylor does hang on to win pulling off a mild upset on the road against TCU. So we go out to the West Coast, even further out on the West Coast. We now see Utah taking on Boise State. Boise State fighting for their bowl lives. Losing this game today will mean that they will not be bowl eligible. It's been a really tough season for the Boise State Broncos. Just 1-6 coming in. Utah, on the other hand, trying to prove that they deserve some votes in the AP Top 25. They're searching for their 5th win of the season and playing on a pretty high level thus far. 10-0 is your score right now, and then it's going to continue to grow as we dive into this first half a little bit further. Utah silencing the crowd here in Boise, Idaho. The blue turf not giving them as much advantage as planned, as now we'll see this quarterback scramble. Nobody going after the quarterback. Willie Bradford going to have probably one of the easiest rushing touchdowns of his life. And Utah with a commanding lead, up 24-0. But Boise State still trying to get on the scoreboard. Looking over to the right-hand side, and it's a great toe drag by Justin Barron. Barron able to get the feet in bounds. And Boise also going for that 2-point conversion. They will convert that as well. So we'll see if it carries a little bit of momentum into the second half. But here's the thing. Utah start with the ball to begin the second half, and we got an insane mossing Adam Fowler with a catch in the corner of the end zone. My word. So Utah again with that commanding lead, 31-8. So the Boise State offense, if they want to find a way to pull off an incredible comeback, they got to get this offense into high gear. That was almost bad, but then look who was open. Usually throwing across your body is a terrible idea, but not for Drew Corbett. Drew Corbett going to get his second passing touchdown of the afternoon. They will go for the 2-point conversion, however, and Corbett looking around trying to create some more magic. But there was nobody home this time around, and the 2-point conversion, well, that will not be successful. So here we are in the fourth quarter. Utah still with a significant advantage, up by 17 points. But the Broncos trying to make it interesting. However, too little too late, though, as Utah still wins by double digits. But now we go into the reign of Happy Valley out here in Penn State Stadium. Penn State hosting the Pittsburgh Panthers for a conference matchup within the newly drawn Conference USA. Big person to highlight here is Blaine Ingram. He's been averaging well over 100 yards on the ground. He's been the centerpiece of the Penn State offense. But this quarterback, well, he can do a thing or two as well. As Daniel Williams gets absolutely lit up like a Christmas tree. And now looking at a 1st and goal. Looking to get the first points on the board. It is indeed going to be Blaine Ingram, who is just short of the goal line. We'll see if they give it to him once again for a 7th rushing touchdown of the season. They will. Ingram to the outside and finds Paydirt. Touchdown, Penn State. And the Nittany Lions will take the lead in this Keystone Pipeline matchup between these two schools. However, when it comes to rivalry games, you never know what can happen in these rivalry games. And sure enough, Pittsburgh is hanging around with the Nittany Lions of Penn State. Penn State looking to get back to over 500 as Williams looks across the middle, finds a open Danny Davis on the mesh concept. And once again, the Nittany Lions have a goal line opportunity. Can they go 2 for 2? Quarterback trying to scramble. Does he get caught from behind? He fumbles the ball. Thankfully, it falls out of bounds at the 1-yard line. That could have been a disaster, as Blaine Ingram is going to bail them out. Touchdown, Penn State. Oh boy, that could have gone horribly wrong though. But for now, Penn State does have a 7-point lead, and that lead is going to hold as the running back for Pittsburgh gets hurt. Also fumbles the ball in the process. So now, 14-21 your score. But the Panthers will eventually score as Matt Mackey throws his second passing touchdown of the day. And now Pittsburgh suddenly with a chance to win the game after a couple of field goals too. You love to see it. Matter of fact, they might be trying to shut the door right now. Mackey to the left-hand side. It's caught by Ken Franz for the touchdown. The upset is alive and well in the Keystone Pipeline rivalry as Pittsburgh going for the 2-point conversion as well. They will actually get it. So the Nittany Lions down by a couple of possessions. They're going to need to find a way to find the end zone and somehow get the onside kick. But they got to get this first down, though. Do they get it? Yes, they do. By the skin of their teeth, they will be able to pick up the first down, and that will help move the chains for now. Couple plays later, Williams got time in the pocket. He's going to find his man, and it's Bill Fisher. But he can't cut a field soon enough. It will be first and goal from the 1-yard line. What does Penn State roll with? It's another passing play. Williams to the left-hand side. Caught! Bill Fisher scores. Touchdown, Nittany Lions. But can they get the onside kick, though? This is to keep the game alive. And the ball is loose. And Penn State recovers. The Nittany Lions are going to recover. They have a chance to go ahead and force overtime. Very next play from the 45-yard line. Williams looks over the middle, but it's going to be intercepted. And the Pittsburgh Panthers will hang on and win the Keystone rivalry game between these two in-state Pennsylvania schools. Pittsburgh does win their second game of the year. Meanwhile, we go back out to the Midwest. Wisconsin going on the road to take on the Missouri Tigers, who just suffered their very first loss of the season in the previous episode. So that's why Missouri is no longer ranked in the top 25. It looks like we could be in for another low-scoring defensive game worthy of the Sickos committees. Only 6 points scored total in the first half. But Missouri looks to change that as they face a 3rd and long. Looking over to the right-hand side. It's intercepted. This could be trouble. This might be taking the distance all the way. No. Shot down just across the 25-yard line. Wisconsin has a chance to strike, though. Couple plays later, facing some pressure. Looks to the left-hand side. And it's intercepted. The one-on-one matchup does not go their way. So Wisconsin, they're still in the lead, but they're keeping Missouri in this game at the exact same time. However, death by field goals could be working for Wisconsin as the Badger defense has been playing at an extraordinarily high level. Will we see Missouri finally score some points, though? This is the closest that they've been all day today. Their first red zone opportunity. Can they cash in? Trying to run it in with the quarterback, and Jake Lewis does indeed punch it in. So now Missouri only down by a couple of points. All of a sudden, a field goal could give them the lead, and they get it. The field goal is good. And now Wisconsin, they need to drive down the field themselves in order to take back the lead. Looking over the middle of the field, it's going to be Brandon Patrick for a big first down. And the Badgers still have all of their timeouts too. Plenty of time on the clock given the circumstances. Looking over the right-hand side, finds another receiver who gets out of bounds. It's Brandon Patrick again, single-handedly leading Wisconsin down the field. Do they go back to Brandon Patrick? Looking over the left-hand side, and it's not. Brandon Patrick is a defender of Missouri, and now Wisconsin's in danger. They do have all their timeouts, but Guy Henry looks like he can be the hero, and he sure was today. Sets a school record for most interceptions in a single game with 4, and that was the ultimate difference. Missouri hanging on a 1-point win. So we now go out to the Bluegrass State as West Virginia takes on Louisville for a conference matchup. Both teams looking for their 3rd win of the season in a sort of packed Papa John's Stadium. That's what the stadium was called at the time this game was made. West Virginia, though, does have the early 3-0 lead, but the first touchdown happens late in the first quarter, though, as Ryan Charles able to connect over the middle. And it seems like we'll be in for an exciting game, as we've already seen 20 points scored between these two teams, so could be some shootout implications here, but the scoring actually slows down significantly after that, as West Virginia takes a 10-point lead into the locker room. In the second half, however, Nobody has scored. We jump instantly into the fourth quarter as Ryan Charles is just going to keep it himself for the touchdown. Louisville draws to within just a field goal. And now it's 20-17. However, West Virginia, we're going to answer back. Louisville might have been offsides. We'll have to check what the penalty is. And yeah, it's an offsides penalty. That doesn't change the fact that West Virginia scores another touchdown. And with this field goal, they'll be looking to put Louisville away. Tom Ostrander having a great final drive in terms of making sure that Louisville's kept at shoulder length. West Virginia will be a team that wins their third game, winning on the road by 13 against Louisville. That being said, we do get some studio updates. And how about Texas Tech? The Texas Tech Red Raiders are able to win a close one against NC State. Texas Tech on the verge of bowl eligibility. And then in other news, we have other bowl updates around the country. How about Miami of Ohio? We're going to make some noise in the Big Ten this season. 5-2 is their seasonal record as they barely take down Ohio. And then we have a slight upset as well. Southern Miss wins their third game of the year, goes on the road, and takes down Mississippi State. That could create a little bit of havoc in the Dixie Division over there in the Sun Belt. But now we get back into your nationally televised content as we have another quad box. Lots of games happening at the exact same time. First, we got number 8 Georgia taking on Tennessee in what has been historically a pretty intense rivalry game. Both teams coming in with just one loss, but Tennessee looking to prove that they deserve to belong in the AP Top 25. They have not been quite respected just yet, and Georgia looks to keep them down as they'll draw first blood, courtesy of Elliott Hartman. Later on in the game, Georgia again driving into the red zone. Second red zone opportunity for the Georgia Bulldogs as they go back to Elliott Hartman, but not as long of a game, only a gain of 5 yards. The Bulldogs will face third down as Neyland Stadium starts to come alive. Looking over the middle though, and it's caught. Georgia scores yet again, as this time Andre Bryant with a perfect strike in the red zone. And then from that moment on, it looks like Georgia seems like they are ready to pull away, but hold up now. Wait a minute. This could change the entire dynamic of the game as he's gonna be gone like a girl in a country song. Touchdown, Tennessee. No flags on the play either. We're talking about possibly super simming out of this game. Nah, Tennessee is still here, ready to play. As we jump into the fourth quarter, we still have the exact same score. But Andre Bryant and company looking to put this game away once and for all. Going to Elliott Hartman, going to try to drive the feet, and Elliott Hartman wills his way into the end zone. Touchdown, Georgia. And just to be safe, they're going to add on a few more points onto the board here as well. They'll get a quick field goal up as well. That helps extend the lead for the Georgia Bulldogs. But Tennessee's basically in garbage time at this point, not going down quietly. They're still playing hard. They are still playing incredibly hard as Tin Ladrum is going to register a passing touchdown. But a tough day for Volunteers quarterback as his team will fall to the number 8 team in the entirety of America. Meanwhile, a non-conference match or a non-ranked matchup out on the West Coast. We go to the Mountain West to be Pacific. Arizona on the road and taking on BYU, but a very low-scoring affair thus far as BYU has mainly had to resort to field goals in the first half. But the BYU defense, a bigger MVP, hosting a shutout for right now. We'll see if that shutout can hold for the rest of the game as we got Will Wilson in the back of the end zone. Arizona will get plenty of garbage time points, but BYU was in control for the entire game though. But hopefully we do end up seeing a little bit more scoring in this next game, a rivalry game between Charlotte and Appalachian State. And Appalachian State actually has multiple custom coaches. One is the offensive coordinator and one is the defensive coordinator. So we got a little bit of teamwork making the dream work there. We got a 3rd and goal coming up for Appalachian State as we will see Gabe Williams getting the scoring started This is similar to how it went last year. App State shocking Charlotte up in Jerry Richardson Stadium last season. They're looking to pull the same thing, except in front of their home fans. And sure enough, App State continues to play at a pretty high level in this rivalry game. Up 14-0 at the half. A good performance for App State thus far. We'll see if they can finish the job, though. Being 1-4 means they're probably not used to being in this position very often, at least not for this year's team. But now, 2nd and 5 coming up, looking over the middle, finds Daniel Martin in the end zone. What a throw on the run by Matt Kaplan there as well. So Appalachian State extends their lead, and we finally see a Charlotte 49ers red zone opportunity. Almost ends in a touchdown right here, right now. Cody Scales just goes out of bounds about, it was like the 2-yard line. Is now 1st and goal coming up, as we're going to see Andrew Turner finally getting on the scoreboard for Charlotte. But will that be enough, though? Is there enough time on the clock for a Charlotte comeback? It's hard to say, but this is a decent little run there by the quarterback for the Charlotte 49ers, Andrew Turner, who does have the only score of the day thus far. We'll see if it goes back to the ground yet again. No, it's going to be a passing play for Turner, who dumps it off to his receivers. Got one man to beat his man, and Orlando Clark is in the end zone. Touchdown, Charlotte. So the 49ers trying to claw back into this game slowly but surely, but App State having none of that. They will attack on a field goal there. And just for safe measures, with less than a minute and a half left to play in the game, App State will tack on yet another field goal. So Appalachian State, for the 2nd year in a row, is going to shock the 49ers of Charlotte. But we do have a top 25 matchup, the only top 25 matchup that we have in today's episode, actually. This wasn't a great week for top 25 games. We do got Arkansas going on the road to take on Alabama. Let's take a look at the Sun Belt Conference standings. Alabama currently on top of the Dixie Division right now. But in the Bayou, it's a different story. Arkansas needing this win in order to keep up with the resurgent Raging Cajuns, who have been undefeated in this entire season. We'll now cut late into the first quarter, as Alabama's still looking to find a rhythm on offense. They might find one in there. Running back Quinton Wake, but he puts the ball on the ground. Arkansas is going to recover the fumble there. Oh my goodness. A rare fumble by Quinton Wake. Thankfully, Arkansas couldn't do much with it. And in the second quarter, Alabama does eventually get themselves on the scoreboard, as Matt Brashard is going to find the end zone for the Crimson Tide. Meanwhile, 7-3 still remains your score, as Quinton Wake is going to find the end zone. Touchdown, Alabama! So the Crimson Tide are starting to roar like elephants in a prairie. Brashard looking for a big play himself. He's gonna get one. Josh Briggs with a huge catch towards the end of the first half. Arkansas, you should have been in prevent. What happened? How could you let someone that open down the sideline in the closing moments of the first half? I could never understand it. But Arkansas is down big, and they got some work to do in a hostile environment. Their quarterback's going to try to make a big throw of himself, and he had his guy. Dude actually did have his guy there, but Isaac Jacobs underthrows him, and Corey McGill, that allows him to get back into the play. That's why you never quit on a play, even if you get burnt like Eli Apple in the Super Bowl. Arkansas down 21-6, though. This run could make it really interesting, though. Kevin Johnson, the tailback, he's going to run through the heart of the state of Alabama. And Arkansas pulls to within just one possession. Or at least that's what I thought they were going to plan on doing, but they're not going for the extra point. They offered a 2-point conversion as well. And Isaac Jacobs trying to fight his way in. He's got it. So risky going for the 2-point conversion, but it ends up working. Isaac Jacobs never giving up on the play. However, Alabama is able to tack on a field goal. So again, down by 10. Isaac Jacobs needs to go to work. He's going to get sacked for a significant loss. Tim Moore getting on the score sheet for the very first time today. and he's just bull rushing his offensive lineman. However, it doesn't stop Arkansas from eventually punching into the end zone. It did take quite a bit of time, though. Only a minute 30 left. I imagine that they will try to go for the onside kick here. Best of luck on making that onside kick happen, as it looks like it's a decent bounce. It's recovered by Arkansas. So the Razorbacks have a chance to tie or take the lead. Looks like they'll opt for the tie. Looking for a 45-yard field goal attempt, but it's wide to the left. He's gonna miss the kick line to the left, and Alabama will survive. The Crimson Tide will officially be bowl eligible. While for Arkansas, it looks like they are going to be in serious danger of falling out of the top 25, even though this was a close and frankly heartbreaking loss for the Razorbacks. So a few more games on the docket, most notably number 4 Miami going to be in action. They have not lost a single game yet this season. And speaking of that Miami team, we'll go ahead and check them out now, taking on Georgia Tech. Kind of in that similar spot as Tennessee earlier in the episode. There's a fumble on the ground, and we usually don't show replays, but look what happens here. The guy fumbles it, might have been at the 1 yard line, and then one of the offensive linemen finds a way to pick up that fumble. You know, sometimes it really is just better to be lucky than it is to be good. And Marcus Amos really should be counting his lucky stars there. He should have lost that fumble. Georgia Tech really should have recovered it. I don't know how they didn't. To be honest, they had more bodies in the area. And it looks like it's really going to hurt them in the end, as Miami looking like they're starting to pull away here late in the third quarter. Going to their tailback all by himself, by the way. David Smith going to find the end zone for the Hurricanes. And Georgia Tech looking shell-shocked right now as they are having their backs against the wall. Down by 17, but David Garcia helps it cut down to within 10. However, late in the game, Marcus Amos looking to put the game away. Looks over the middle, finds Corey Graves in the end zone. Touchdown, Miami. So while it was a kind of sloppy day for the Miami offense, they do more than enough to get the job done. Meanwhile, we have the number 7 team in the country, the Michigan Wolverines, hosting the Boilermakers of Purdue. And surprisingly, nicer weather out here as Michigan looks to continue their unbeaten season. They got a showdown coming up with Miami of Ohio. That could decide the Hoosier division of the Big Ten Conference. As we got a third and short coming up. Fred Morris IV, one of your guys' custom players, by the way. He's going to throw a nice dot over the middle to Jason Sims, who now has a goal line opportunity. Looking at third and goal, though. Morris looking to punch his way into the end zone. It's going to find Jason Crishaw in the end zone. Touchdown, Michigan. And the Wolverines are rolling right now, and they don't even need a good old-fashioned sign stealing. Obviously, can't steal signs in NCAA 14. This Michigan team doesn't have to cheat in order to be undefeated and off to the kind of start that they have. But here we are in the fourth quarter. Michigan still blowing out Purdue. But this Boilermaker team certainly not giving up by any means. As we're looking at a third and short now. Looking over to the right-hand side. An open man. Dixon still had to do the toe drag to get it in. So it might have been a little bit harder than necessary. But Purdue does score yet again. They even go for the 2-point conversion. Quarterback tries to run for it, but he's going to be denied at the 1 yard line. Eric Murphy had the right idea, just not the right execution for it. So a 17-point lead still for the Michigan Wolverines as they're able to drive to the red zone once again. And it's going to be yet another red zone touchdown for this Michigan squad, as they'll eventually be able to put up the 40-piece here as they blow out Purdue at home 40-13 to remain undefeated. But now we get a little bit of a battle in the ACC as North Carolina going out to West Virginia. When Virginia Tech is really good, that's just a good thing for college football. West Virginia is not that at the moment. They're hovering at 500. Both teams could use this win to get closer to bowl eligibility. It just feels good to always get a win in ACC conference play. But we got a 7-0 score at the moment. North Carolina looking for a commanding lead as Danny Bates is going to hand it off to the tailback, who is going to do the rest of the work. How about that run by Jackson? I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. He is indeed for real. So North Carolina with a commanding lead. But the Hokies look to etch their way back into this game. 14-7 being your score. Virginia Tech actually looking to tie late in the first half. They set up the screen. He's got some space down the sideline, and Chris Vogel will even things up for the Hokies of Virginia Tech. And a battle on our hands as Virginia Tech actually looking to take the lead, looking for 21 unanswered. How about that throw down the middle of the field to Chris Pugh? 17-yard reception. And the Hokies are looking to go fast. They only have one timeout to work with. Alvarez gets his guys to the line quickly. 1st and 10. Alvarez in the shotgun, looks over the middle, but doesn't put enough air under it. And because of that, Alvarez is going to throw a costly interception. So the Hokies could have came away with points towards the end of the half, but they done fucked up. And now it's still a tie ball game. But second half is starting up in Virginia Tech is trying to redeem themselves, and it looks like they will redeem themselves with a touchdown here in the red zone on their first drive of the second half. And then later on in the same quarter, Alvarez is going to throw a nice ball over to the left-hand side. That is a very difficult throw to Danny Sampson. It will set up 1st and goal as the Hokies looks to punch it into the end zone, and they will. Oh my! That is some big boy running there. And Virginia Tech now with a 28 consecutive unanswered points. Hold that. Make it 35 unanswered points. North Carolina, remember when they were off to a great start? Remember when they had this big lead? Yeah, I don't remember that either. It seems that long ago. North Carolina finally scores for the first time since the first quarter. Welcome back, North Carolina offense. They still need a couple more scores if they want any hopes of tying this game, but this will likely seal the deal as Jackson is going to fumble it, and it looks like it is going to be a scoop and score. Virginia Tech will probably seal it here. There is no shot North Carolina comes back, and that was 100% the case. Virginia Tech wins their 4th game of the season, winning by 3 scores against North Carolina. So we have a few more games happening coming up. How about Oklahoma taking on Kansas? Kansas coming off of a big win as they took down a ranked Missouri team. They're going to be looking to get yet another win, maybe get their first winning streak of the season. That would be pretty cool to see of this Jayhawk squad. Game that will actually be happening on the day that I'm doing this voice commentary. Kansas only a 10-point underdog in real life, so do what you want with that. Maybe this is a sign of things to come. Kansas up 10-0 in midway through the second quarter, though, as Oklahoma is still looking for the first points of the day. They're sitting on a goal line opportunity, gonna run it up the gut with Jerome Butler, and Oklahoma will finish the deal there. Touchdown Sooners! So Kansas with a much smaller lead, and they are just simply trying their best to hang on for dear life right now. Only hanging on to a 6-point lead, but one play could change all of that. This could be the one play as Reggie Anderson was determined to run it in, and he does. Oklahoma scores, but Kansas with less than a minute left, they're going to try a long field goal. They get that. So Oklahoma needs to put together yet another drive. For some reason, the Sooners are trying to get it down to 0. You would think they would be the ones that are ahead, but they only got 11 seconds left. 2 plays, maybe 3 if they're lucky. Anderson needs his 4th down conversion first, gets it, and his guy gets to the sideline as well. Justin Watson gets it to about midfield as Anderson drops back. He wants it all right now. Anderson caught! Dante Stevens is going to score. Touchdown, Oklahoma. Oh, my. And now, wait a minute. They're going for the 2-point conversion. So that if Kansas scores, they actually have to make the extra point to win. And sometimes, you never know with these college kickers, right? But 1 second left. They are going to return it. It was kicked, not out of bounds. Kansas trying to get a miracle to happen, but unfortunately it will fall short. So Oklahoma is going to survive by the skin of their fingernails. The Sooners win 20-16. So we get some more studio updates on the way as we have UNLV able to pull it out against Arizona State out in the Mountain West Conference. UNLV is able to win their 4th game of the entire season, so they get back to 500 there. And then how about this for shockers? Fresno State takes down Oregon, so Oregon will likely follow the top 25 because of that. And of course, more top 25 upsets around the country. It's Tulane that is going to fall. They will fall to Arkansas State, and that's important because Arkansas State was also in the hunt for that Dixie Division title in the Sun Belt, so this is big for them. An impressive win as well, doing it on the road. But we do have some more games coming your way. Number 2, USC taking on an unranked Notre Dame team for the Jules Solele. As USC looks to remain undefeated. Ben Scott looking to get the scoring started. Has his guys in the red zone already. And how about the determination by his running back, Terrell Salas, certified bad man. Gets him into a 1st and goal opportunity, but he does get subbed out as Ben Scott in a 4-wide set. He's actually going to run it in himself. Ben Scott finds the end zone. Touchdown, USC. And Ben Scott, while he doesn't have the prettiest passing numbers, I mean, he's been a nice dual threat quarterback for the Trojans as they continue their quest to defend their national championship that they won in year number 2. But Notre Dame, they are tired of the disrespect. They are tired of not being ranked. They want some respect on their name, and they're playing like it, playing with the number 2 team in America. And Notre Dame actually does have a chance to tie as well, as we have another red zone opportunity coming up on the screen as they have a critical 3rd and 3. Greg Hunt, no, he's going to hand it on to his tailback. He gets to the outside, and Ben Bentley able to move the sticks, and that is a 1st down for the Fighting Irish. So in the last 3 minutes of the first half, Notre Dame in a goal line situation. They go back to that ground game. It's been brilliant in this possession, and they finish with the ground game. Landon Hogan is going to score, and they have a tie ball game on our hands. Jumping into the second half, it could still go in either direction. What are we doing? What is happening here? Why are we doing that? Oh, that could be catastrophic for Greg Hunt and company. USC is going to recover, but somehow USC doesn't do anything with that possession. So Notre Dame with a massive bullet dodge there. That really could have shifted momentum the other way. Instead, we are looking at a Notre Dame lead, and dare I say it, Notre Dame might extend this lead, and they will with yet another touchdown. So that piss poor pitch play that we just saw is not going to hurt anything. Incredible. Absolutely incredible stuff that we're seeing right now, as Notre Dame actually might do this. They might upset the number 2 team in America. 2nd and 10 though. Ben Scott dropping back, looks to the left-hand side. He's going to get out to his receiver. Able to pick up the 1st down and get out of bounds as well. Preserves the last time out, but they took too much time to get into the end zone here. They will score with 4 seconds left. But this 2-point conversion is going to be extremely crucial. If they don't get the 2-point conversion, this game is going to be over. Ben Scott in the shotgun, moves the tight end in motion. Scott looking around, fires over the left-hand side and finds Tony Mitchell. So it comes down to his onside kick. We've seen a couple of successful onside kicks in this episode. Can USC do the same? And they do! USC has a shot. They have a shot to tie this game and force overtime. Scott in the shotgun. He's got time. He's going to launch this downfield. No, it's short. He had a man behind the Notre Dame defense. Just didn't have the arm to pull it off. And Notre Dame pulls the upset on the number 2 team in all of America. So now we got a last couple of games, actually. We got Ohio State most notably, but first we'll check in on one of our offensive coordinators, one of your guys' custom coaches, Remy Natalius, out in Wyoming. His guys did win last week, and they're going to be looking for a 2-game winning streak, trying to beat Colorado State. Colorado State losing to Air Force, another one of your teams that are led by a custom coach, the offensive coordinator there being Dion Kirby. Wyoming does have a 7-0 lead, but Colorado State will quickly respond in this first quarter. That is a dot. That is an absolute dot to Tyrone Morris there for the tutty. So it's all knotted up at 7 apiece as we get deep into the second quarter of action. Colorado State looking to seize the lead, running low on time, but the very last second is going to find Steve Foreman for a 16-yard reception. So it keeps the chains moving for Colorado State as they again look for another big play. Looking over to the right-hand side, it's going to be another dot to Matt Sherman. Matt Sherman will now have Colorado State in the red zone, and they look for a tie. 3rd and inches. Dropping back. Looking around. Starting to run low on time. Throws across his body, and Ryan Daniels is going to score. Colorado State will tie the game. So here we are in the second half. Whoever wins the second half will ultimately win the game, and Colorado State looks to be that team that wants to try and win this game. Fourth quarter, still a 3-point game. Colorado State in the goal line, and Dre Kent is going to receive the pitch, and he'll run it in. So Wyoming in deep trouble. Natalius needs his guys downfield quick. Natalius calls a triple option. If he pitched that, oh my goodness, if he pitched that, that was going to be a touchdown. But Carl Nicholson with a solid run, not a liquid or gas, but a solid run, leading to a goal line situation. 2nd and goal, a couple plays later, Danny Clark will punch it in. The fullback for Wyoming, who said the fullback position was dead. Certainly not in the Cowboys states, as Colorado State does get a field goal, so Wyoming has to get a touchdown and an extra point to tie. Their kicker did miss the extra point on the last touchdown, so instead of them possibly winning this game, they have to be looking for a tie, maybe at the best, unless they want to get real spicy. Wyoming is going to go into their no huddle though with 1 minute and 41 seconds left. The Cowboys do have 3 timeouts to work with as they're going to run it up the gut. This is a good run up the left-hand side, and Adam Hunter is going to be able to pick up the first down. So the Cowboys pacing themselves pretty well here. However, 4th down, they have to convert this, and they will indeed pick up the first down. Oh, they needed that in the worst way. And then on the final play of the game, looking over to the right-hand side, it's caught! Benjamin Martinez is going to score. Touchdown, Wyoming. If they get the extra point, they should be able to force overtime. The kick is up. It's blocked. It's partially blocked. It's no good. And Wyoming's kicker sells in the worst way. Colorado State wins 27-26. Oh, that is brutal to see. But now let's check in on the final game that we have in terms of the nationally televised matchups. It's Ohio State, number 11 in the country, on the road, taking on this Michigan State Spartans team out here in East Lansing. But Ohio State early on showing that they are indeed not fazed by this nighttime crowd that is assembled here in East Lansing, Michigan. Matter of fact, if I didn't know any better, I would have thought that they were at a funeral because Michigan State's team is getting killed right now. Although that will help get this crowd feel a little alive. Finally getting a touchdown on the board. Finally something for the Spartan crowd to go and cheer about. But Ohio State will kick. The field goal kick is up, and it's going to be good, as they'll take a commanding lead into the halftime locker room. 24-10 will indeed be your score. So, going into the third quarter, Ohio State has won this third quarters thus far, and they're gonna, oh, I thought Jonathan Sermon had that touchdown. He did not. Ohio State was looking to dominate the last piece of this third quarter, as they're gonna line it up with Jonathan Sherman again, and the Sherman tank cannot be stopped, and Ohio State cannot be stopped either most weeks. 62-10, and this is a dangerous team to look after They are starting to get healthy, boys. But now let's go ahead and take a look around the country in order to kind of see what else is happening around college football. This was actually a surprising shootout. Duke put up a pretty good fight, but just ran out of gas in that fourth quarter as Ole Miss was able to pull away, eventually winning 52-35. But one of the first games that we did end up seeing on national television, though, was Washington. Number 1 Washington went on the road to take on Nevada, and the Huskies do pull it out, winning 43-29, setting up an epic showdown against Cal in the next episode. Speaking of those California Bears, they are able to beat Washington State 35-17, which means we have a battle of 2 top 5 teams playing next week. It's going to be an epic showdown in that next episode. But that number 2 team in the nation in Texas is trying to make the case to be number 1, but they certainly didn't have to do the boys of UTSA like that. Texas putting up a 70-burger as they get a 70-10 win over the Roadrunners. Meanwhile, the Army Academy will remain undefeated as they take down Maryland very convincingly. Army is now at 6-0, so they are bowl eligible, and they're on the door to becoming a top 10 team as well, thanks to this 52-7 victory. Speaking of pretty good wins, Rice also keeps itself deep in the Big 12 championship hunt as they take down a winless Texas A&M team 52-39. They'll have to bring more defensively to win the conference, but Rice does keep themselves in that dark horse kind of hunt. Speaking of the Big 12, how about the Houston Cougars taking down UTEP 40-10? UTEP simply not the same team as last year as they finished the first half of the season with a putrid 1-5 record. Massive yikes. As for the Florida Gators are climbing in the top 25 as they win 44-13. FAU, meanwhile, are struggling to get to 500 as they fall to 2-5 on the year. Meanwhile, the Clemson Tigers were able to get back to their winning ways after a surprising loss to Old Dominion. They take it out on Eastern Carolina as the Tigers win 48-17 in the comforts of their own stadium. As for the Rainbow Warriors, Hawaii was able to pull one out against Oregon State 27-13. Big game coming up for Hawaii as they will take on USC on the road or making a trip over onto the mainland. Speaking of the Pac-12, how about the Stanford Cardinal having an excellent season? They continue that with this 20-10 win over Western Michigan, as Stanford is also trying to climb deeper into the top 25. Speaking of the top 25, Florida State with a potentially very good win, possibly an underrated kind of win right here. They handled business against San Jose State 41-24, but San Jose State's had a good season as well. This is only their second loss of the year, and they're already eligible to go bowling as well. So shout out to the Spartans for at least keeping it close against Florida State. Now, speaking of the coaches poll, let's now go ahead and take a look at what's happening in the top 25. We do have a new number 1 team. Texas won by 60, but yet in spite of that, they fall off the number 1 spot. Washington is your new number 1 team in the country. A huge surprise there that I am having a hard time dealing with, right? But how about the Ragin' Cajuns continuing an historically amazing season? The Ragin' Cajuns are 7-0. They were on bye this week, but they still move up a few spots though, as they're now up to number 6 in the entire country. So checking out some of other movements in this top 25. This is the coaches poll that is where we're getting these rankings from. USC did lose their first game of the season. It allows Notre Dame to get into this top 25. They got a tough game next week. They're going to be hosting Hawaii. That should be a fun game to watch. Army is number 12, like we mentioned. Big win against Maryland. They move up 5 spots because of that. As we look around the country to see what else of note happened, there wasn't really a lot of movement in the middle of this top 25, but Notre Dame is in at number 19 in the country. They got that big win against USC. Interesting game in the MAC next week as they take on Northern Illinois, a team that is receiving votes in the top 25. And rounding out the remains of the top 25, we do have Missouri back in. They had their first loss of the year in the previous episode, but after a gutsy win against Wisconsin, they are back in. And then Arkansas State, they take down number 25 Tulane. So they essentially just replaced Tulane in the polls. Their top 25 ranking does come to the test when they go on the road to take on LSU in the next episode. But that will wrap things up here in week number 8 as we're now starting that second half of the season. We have multiple top 25 matchups that will be coming your way, and we are extremely excited about it. And I hope you've been enjoying the content as well. If you have, I need you guys to go ahead and do me a massive favor and go ahead and smack that like button for me. Also, hit that subscribe button as well if you do happen to be brand new to the channel. This is John J Gaming on the mic signing off, but hoping you guys are all out there having a good one. Take care, everybody.